Hey, it's Luke without a darts. Today we are putting together and assembling the Cheetah 2.0. It's a pretty easy build. There are instructions on the listing, but sometimes it's nice to have a visual reference and some dialogue to go around with that. Cheetah 2.0 is a really fun blaster. They retooled the 1.0 and made a 2.0 that shoots short darts instead of rival balls. The fun thing about this kit is that in this tiny form factor, it can shoot about 200 FPS. Pretty impressive. However, it does have a unique barrel mechanism where it needs to be primed and unprimed, basically to load the breech manually. So it's a little bit different function. It's kind of a two-step setup to fire. To assemble this, you're literally only going to need a screwdriver. I will probably shortcut and use my mini power drill here. We'll start off with the barrel guide, and we're going to insert our barrel this way. Now this little piece of orange tape here is really important. Please don't take it off. We've seen people do this. It's actually a little piece of plastic, but this stops the barrel from coming out the other side. So when this is installed in the blaster, it moves like this to load the blaster, and you're good to go. Next, we're going to take this little 3D printed bit here, and this is actually the dart retention, and we'll insert it into this little hole right here. You can push it all the way in, but it should sit and hold snugly. The blaster does include a spare for this part, but in case you do need a replacement, we do also offer them via 3D printing. Next, we're going to take our shell and we're going to remove the two screws right here and right here that are just holding the shell together. All of the screws are the same size, so you don't need to worry about mixing them up. Then we can take our barrel guide and we will set that in place. You want this part to be on top, just like that, and it'll sit right in the shell, mating up with this part perfectly. Then we'll take our plunger assembly, it looks like this, and we're going to drop this into place right here. And you'll need to work in this back portion to get your actual catch. I'll hold this up to camera in just a moment. And once you've got that installed, it should look like this. That spring needs to be contained up in there, and this will sit just like this. There's a little notch here, and everything should line up exactly as you're seeing it pictured. At that point, we're essentially ready to close up the blaster. The only key part is you've got this little notch right here, and that has got to go through this part on the shell here, and it has a very specific orientation, so you're gonna have to kind of give it a push and make sure that it's lining up. And then one thing you wanna watch for is as you close it up, this spring likes to jump out, so you just wanna make sure that it's in between, and then you can kind of go around and look at where you've got something binding. I'm gonna have to push on the plunger tube slightly here to get that to get into place where it needs to be. And then you should get to the point where you've got all of your edges sealed and you're just holding it together with a couple fingers. And you want to make sure that all of the seams look good and that they're all connected. And then at that point, we can go ahead and put all of our screws back in. After you've got your 8 screws in, you should have a few extras. You can just save those for later in case you ever lose a screw. It's pretty common in this hobby. At that point, we're basically ready to go. We just need to throw on our P-car. This is optional. This is a plastic scar barrel, but it will increase accuracy. Now, to actually operate the blaster, you take your magazine and a couple of darts. Now, you'll notice if you look down the mag well now, you can't put the mag in because the barrel is in the way. And that's how this blaster works. You'll manually pull the barrel forward, then you can insert your magazine, and then you can load a dart into the breech by putting that back. Finally, you can prime, and since parry's right there, I will pull the trigger this direction, and I'll turn the safety off. So this is your safety right here. And this thing hits like a truck. It is a powerhouse little blaster. It's a lot of fun. It's kind of a goofy form factor and function, but for just kind of getting your feet wet in the hobby and hitting people from way across the field, 200 FPS is pretty solid, especially in this tiny little package. Hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching.